It's the City preview. This is officially our only chance to get top four this season and qualify for the Champions League. Today, we're going to be talking about Memphis. We're going to give you our Man United team. We're going to be talking about City's team as well. They've got a load of injuries. And we're going to be talking about the score. And with Adam and Halson, guys, can we actually get top four? And is this game the biggest of the season in terms of doing that? Tell me, don't just laugh at me. Tell me.
You know what? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see us go and beat City, but I don't think we'll get top four.
Halson, if we beat City, are we doing it?
If we beat City, then we're a point off City, and City's form is awful at the moment. And if Kompany's out for a while, which obviously I'm going to touch on in a bit, but if Kompany is out for a while, then they could really crumble. He is the linchpin to that team. Once he's out, they just fall to pieces. And they've actually been worse than us since November. They've got worse form than us since November, but they just had more points than us, so I was able to keep it going a little bit. So, 1 point off City, doable. And we'll only be 2 points off Arsenal, depending on how their result goes as well. If they lose, It's only 2 points off Arsenal. And everyone's in poor form, so it's not a case of, do United need to win every single match to make this happen? We just need to pick up by like 5% and we'll be in there.
Mourinho versus Guardiola in the Europa League next year. That could actually be a possibility with West Ham, Leicester and Tottenham all in the Champions League. Could you see something like that happening? City and United dropping out?
We might not even get Europa League if this continues.
Oh. I tell you what, I'd rather not have it. I'd rather not have it.
Same here. I don't want Europa League, but I think what disappointed me yesterday was we needed to get a result. We were going out of Europe and we didn't throw the kitchen sink at it. Why? Why did we just accept defeat? And the fact that we just accepted that kind of just basically probably a bit later than everyone else. I've kind of just lost all hope.
The Liverpool game was a bit of a shocker, mate. And one exclusion from the squad that everyone was talking about is Memphis. I mean, he had quite a good few games, didn't he, over a period, admittedly against inferior opposition. But do you think he should be thrown in against City? Do you think it's time for us to see the return of Memphis Depay in the starting lineup?
I like Memphis. I think Memphis is a fantastic talent who hasn't performed week in, week out for us, but then he has been inconsistent. But I think when he plays, I think Marshall plays better. And I think it's useful to have him in the team. He's a natural winger. A lot of our wingers, I found with Rashford and Lingard, I know they're not even, well, Lingard can play wide, but Rashford isn't a winger, so apologies to him for just ripping him. But they all cut inside, try to get inside on the inside foot and shoot. Whereas Memphis can go inside and he can go to the byline as well, and he tries to make things happen. So I like Memphis. I hate the fact that a lot of fans are on his back. I think with players like that, we need to allow them to flourish, allow them to play. And yeah, give him minutes. He needs time.
I'm really sure that Memphis one day will be a very, very good Manchester United player. Maybe not in that, I hate to say it, but world-class bracket. But I think he's definitely shown signs of potential. Halson, what do you think? Would you play him against City? And do you think he can actually improve as a Man United player? Do you think next season it'll be a lot better for him?
I disagree with you that he's not going to be world-class. I think he will be world-class one day. But like Adam said, you've got to give the guy minutes. He's younger than Jesse Lingard. Think about that for a second when we talk about Lingard being a young academy player. Memphis is younger. And for some reason or another, Louis van Gaal hasn't given him the sort of patience that he's give other players this season. We saw Rooney go through the patch where we was pulling our hair out that he was playing games. Like, why is he still playing? He's awful. We've had it recently with Fellaini where he's been awful. We've had it with Blind who needs a rest. We've seen players just come and turn out poor performance after poor performance and still be in the team. And Memphis does one thing wrong, come sit down. And it seems harsh and unfair on him because when he does get a run of games, as we saw a couple of weeks back, you give him a run of games and you say, listen, you're going to play, there's nobody else, so you're not going to get dropped. And look what he does. He's pulling rainbow flicks out. He's beating men like they're not even there. He just needs that security in him, I think. I think he's probably a very insecure person and just needs...
I agree.
Just needs to be told, look, you've got 4 matches or 5 matches or 6 matches in the team where we're going to play you. Go out and express yourself. And I think the Liverpool game was crying out for him. The substitutions was baffling. unless there was injuries, but even then it was still a bit baffling. And if we'd have brought on Memphis, I could see things happening. He was the sort of player that I thought could go and grab hold of that game, make himself a name, and it could have kicked his career on, in all honesty, at United if he'd have been able to come on and do something in that game last night. But he wasn't afforded that opportunity.
Well, I mean, people say about Memphis, people always say, he's too cocky and he's too confident because of the cars that he's got or something daft like that. I don't agree with that. I think that's him sort of trying to convince himself he's a star. And I agree with you that he's quite an insecure person. So do you think actually maybe that's why he isn't being played in some of the big games? Because if he plays a game against City as an absolute shocker, gives another mistake away like that time he tried to head it back to De Gea, do you think that could severely damage him?
No, I don't think so. I think while he's quite insecure in himself and probably doesn't back himself or probably gets worried about if he's going to get dropped, I think, on the other hand, I think he's got a lot of confidence when I see what he does on the pitch. Now, I said this a few weeks back and people picked up on the wrong point of what I was saying, that he's very like Ronaldo in how he constantly wants the ball. That Ronaldo, you'll see, get the ball, shoot, and he'll blaze it over, and that doesn't affect him. What affects him is him getting dropped for the mistakes, I think. He doesn't get affected by the mistakes he makes on the pitch. He'll make a mistake. We saw it, can't remember who it was. It was only a couple of weeks back, but he'd get the ball, blaze it over, nothing. Get the ball, blaze it over, and then he's getting it, doing the flicks, beating people, and he's not affected by his own mistakes, I think. And that's what reminds me of Ronaldo, as Ronaldo will take 10 shots in a game to score one, but he comes off the pitch like, yeah, got a goal in a game. And I think Memphis is very, very similar to that, whereas he's confident in his own abilities and he will keep trying and he won't lose faith in himself on the pitch. I think what does him in is when the manager is losing faith in him.
Tell me your team then. You need to put your arm around, you know what I mean? And like he says, give him a little bit of confidence. I mean, that's what you'd hope Ryan Giggs is there to do. That's what I was about to say. We've got one of what was one of the best wingers ever in our team, and we can't. I think Memphis is one of them that you play week in, week out and let him play through his mistakes. And we don't. And I hate when he has a shot. Like against West Ham the other day, I thought he came on and changed the game for us. He created more space for Marshall by taking, who was their right back? It's not Cresswell. I can't remember who it was, but taking their right back away and creating so much space. And I remember once he cut in, as soon as he come on, he cut in, had a pop, had a shot. It went over, fair enough. But then everyone in the crowd's like, oh.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, man.
And then you have instances in the Liverpool game where we're chasing goals and all we seem to be doing is passing it around the outside of the D because no one wants to take a shot. That's where world-class players come from. That's where game changers come from because they're unafraid to take a chance. And in that final third, we shouldn't penalise or talk down on anybody who takes a chance because you have to take chances to make chances.
Right, as much as he'd love it to be, this isn't the Memphis Depay show. We're talking about 10 other players on the pitch as well. Adam, give us your team for the game against City.
Do we have to play them players again?
Unfortunately, we do, mate. That's how football works.
I played David De Gea, and that's it. Marshall and Rashford. And just if we could
clone David De Gea.
Go do what you've done all week. Because I think, well, you know what? That's unfair. I thought against Liverpool, if you look at it as just those 90 minutes, I thought we played well. But that was because we played on the edge. In the first half, first 45 minutes, we tried to make things happen. We tried to get goals, and then we ran out of ideas, and the manager never changed it. And I think if we played like that in a league game, if that was a league game, we'd be like, oh, we played well. We were unlucky. We didn't take our chances. We should have won the game. But I don't think we will go into a league game and play that way. So it's annoying. And I know you just asked me to name my team, so I'll go and do that. David De Gea in goal.
Right, you'll do that.
I don't think Vieira should be starting. I thought he was woeful against Liverpool, but I don't think it was all his own doing. I think Chris Smalling needed to help him out sometimes, pull him back, talk to him, marshal him through the game. But yeah, Vieira had a bad game, so I'd just take him out, put Valencia in at right back. I'm not Valencia's biggest fan, but it was nice to see him back. He looked fit, he looked strong, he looked quick, and he's a player that, you know, we can use off the bench, whether it's at right back, right mid. So it's nice to have that option back. So I put him in at right back. Yeah. Smalling and Blind. I thought Blind was excellent against Liverpool. He's been poor recently, but I thought he was pretty good, and he saved us a few times with his last ditch tackles. At fullback, is Cameron Borthwick-Jackson back?
No idea.
I'd say he's in training because we saw him from the bush, didn't we, Stu? But
he said that he wasn't ready for the Liverpool game, didn't he? And you know that he's going to want to give him some minutes before he starts him. So
I'm going to pick CBJ anyway. So CBJ's in my team. Then I think we're going to see Schneiderlin and Fellaini on the weekend, but I would pick Schneiderlin and Bastian Schweinsteiger. I don't think Fellaini had a bad game against Liverpool. He missed 2 sitters, but I don't think he had a bad game against Liverpool, but I wouldn't start him. Then I'd go with, Mata or Herrera. They've both been poor recently. One of them, I'd say Mata, Memphis, Marshall, and Rashford. Because Rashford is due a goal, and it's the Manchester derby.
He's going to love it, isn't
he? Yeah, he's going to love it. So that's my team.
Howson, team.
I would play 11 Mancunians.
Have we got any?
We've got probably about 100 more than City have got.
10 Mancunians and Dave.
10 Mancunians and Dave in net. I go with Dave in net. And unlike Adam, like we've just said about letting Memphis play through his mistakes, I did think Varela got toasted against Liverpool. But it was Coutinho who was up against. Sometimes a great player like Coutinho is going to get the better of you. And I thought the mentality of the Liverpool game was to attack. So an attacking fullback getting caught out happens. It's just one of them. So I'm not going to punish him for that. He starts again for me because I think we have to go on the attack.
I don't think it's a punishment. I think more of a just take him out a little bit. You don't want him getting roasted twice in a week.
Well, I would stick with him and play him. Because I think he offers us something going forward.
We need this win as well, so I think we've got. If we were choosing between a defensive player or an attacking player, I think I prefer the attacker. If we lose, it's just as bad as a draw, really.
We've got to go for 3 points here, so I'm going for it. We need goals. On the left, I would go for Riley or Borthwick-Jackson, and Riley wasn't in training the other day, so I don't know if that's just because it's a European thing. I have no idea. I've not heard if he's injured or anything like that, but I would go for Riley for the same reasons as Varela, because he's got tempo, he's got aggression, he's got drive, and I think it's infectious to the rest of the team when you've got a couple of players that are pushing like that. We saw against Liverpool in the first half, that sort of drive and desire from the side. I want to see it again. And I think the way you do that is you play players that play like that as much as possible. Centre-half. Now, I don't know why Van Gaal doesn't try it more often, but he doesn't seem to like playing Rojo there, and I think he's a great centre-half. I would go with Rojo and Smalling, if at all possible. If we're feeling brave, let's throw Fosu-Mensah in there.
That's a red card waiting to happen.
Because he's, it is. But I like it. I would maybe throw Fosu in there just for the physical aspect of it. I think he's got quick feet for the size of him, and if he's got to deal with Aguero, I'd love to see him up against Aguero because I think he'd fold him up and send him home. In midfield, I would go for the midfield. It is our best midfield.
Yeah.
There is no argument there. Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin is our best midfield pairing. So play it. And ahead of them, I'd go with Herrera for the same reasons I wanted to see him last night. Although I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what the reasons behind his absence was against Liverpool. I would go with Herrera in the number 10 position, and he can also then switch it into a midfield 3 if needed against City's midfield, which you might need at times. I think that's where Mata, you lose a little bit with Mata in terms of the defensive and physical aspect. And I would go with Memphis on the right, Marshall on the left, and Rashford up front. Because Memphis has to play, and I want to see him on the right because his lack of a left foot for a left winger is worrying. I think he was played differently for PSV and for Holland. I think he was played more as a number 10 or as a shadow striker or as a false 9, and he had more of a central free role, whereas we play such a rigid formation that he is stuck out on the left. So you know what he's going to do 9 times out of 10. So I'd like to see him on the right where he can go to the byline and go around the back and see what that happens. But I'd also tell the forward 3, do what you want, lads.
Yeah.
Because you 3 are going to make the goals. So if you want to go over to the right for a bit, sweet. If you want to come in the middle for a bit, sweet. Just the rest of the team can be rigid, but them three need the freedom to do what they want. And I think if we play like that and we see the sort of passion that we saw in the first half yesterday, from what I've seen of this Manchester City team, we'll be home and hosed by half-time because these can crumble big time.
That front three is definitely what we need. I want to see Herrera play as well, just because, I mean, Adam's made the point in the past, one matter when it's not going well in the game, he don't really turn up. But Herrera, in games, even if you're losing a game, if he was playing last night, he would have been going in hard, even when the game's already gone. And I think we need him in derbies and stuff like that. So I want to see Herrera.
Well, we've seen him celebrating, haven't we, when he's been subbed or when he's been on the bench and we've scored a goal. And you see him punching the glass and stuff, and you think it means something to him. That's the sort of player I want in my team. That's why I want him, Varela, and Riley in the team, because I think you put them sort of players, and Rashford's the same as well. He plays angry. You need players that are just pissed off at the world, and that helps.
I think that's probably why he got dropped for the game against Liverpool, because he was in the press conference talking about if Liverpool want to go through, they'll have to come and fight for this and all that. He gets pulled out.
Stupid, innit? You never know, though. He may well have got an injury that we've not heard about yet, so let's wait for that. Talking about Man City, don't really like to talk about Man City, but they have got a couple of injuries. Vincent Kompany, the most notable. Do you think that's going to be a massive loss to them? Do you think we can expose it? Howson, tell me.
Yeah, Vincent Kompany, and when you try and analyse it, and you look at what they've got in the rest of the team, and you see Silva, and you see Toure, and you see Aguero, and at the moment you see the defence that they've got with Otamendi and that, and you go, when Kompany goes, that team becomes less than the sum of its parts for some reason, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's how he conducts himself on the pitch, how he threatens and motivates people in a Roy Keane style way. I don't know what it is, but he's got some sort of X factor about him, which he makes the team better when he's in it. And he's a massive loss for them. And I'm glad. And every time we play him and he doesn't play, I think it's going to be an easy game for us. I don't think this will be an easy game because we're not going into this with form.
Glad you said that.
I think passion's what's going to do it for us. And I think if we see the sort of fight and desire that we saw against Liverpool, this City team without Kompany is going to fold, because it seems like they're not playing for the manager. We're seeing shades of what happened when Sir Alex Ferguson stepped down, that the team aren't scared of the manager, the team aren't playing for him, they don't respect him, and they're like, whatever, and they're just sort of car crashing the end of the season. It's mad to see, because this was a team that everybody thought was going to walk it. There was a very good team anyway. Then they added Sterling and De Bruyne and Otamendi, and people are like, well, that's that season sorted, isn't it? And then they started the season on absolute fire. And at the moment, they are so ordinary and so poor that I think it's going to be who wants it most for the derby, who's going to win it. And I hope it's us.
Adam, we spoke about Kompany. Is there anyone else in City's lineup that you're worried about? Seems a daft question, doesn't it, really?
Sergio Aguero, innit?
At the minute.
And Whoopi Goldberg. But he's been missing a lot of sitters recently, but the obvious one, Sergio Aguero, I think is fantastic. And if we I think Yaya Toure, he can have one of 2 days, and the first 10 minutes will decide that. If we throw a few challenges on him, make it hard for him, he won't want it in the game. He won't be interested. So the moment we let him start barging guys out the way and putting his foot on the ball and all that, that's when we'll lose the game. We'll lose the midfield battle, and that could potentially decide it. But I think City, as Steve said, City are there to be got at. I think if we're going to win the game, it's going to be a high-scoring game because we will concede. So I think it's just I think we need to go into it similar to the game against Arsenal at home, where we just look to go all out and just get the goals. And we conceded
I think this underdog sort of tag suits us a little bit.
But
we've played better when we've been the team that's never going to win.
Our expectations have been so lowered, though, isn't it? Which is a bit sad.
Whenever I've watched Yaya Toure this season, he's been really, really poor. He runs like he's carrying a fridge on his back. But coming into this game, you can just tell. I just get this weird feeling that it's going to be one of those games that he's going to turn up in. But obviously, hope that I'm wrong. Adam, what's your score for the game? You said it's going to be high scoring. Do you think we'll edge it?
I said if we win, it will be high scoring because
we're gonna win though.
That's unfortunate considering we don't score a lot.
Probably not.
So basically, lads, what's happening is
go on.
Marcus Rashford, and it's going to be 3-2 United.
Oh, you imagine a Rashford in the last minute. Imagine that.
Who am I kidding, really?
We'd have a parade back to Sale Moor. Howson, what's your score?
If Rashford scores the winner, mate, he's going to be the talk of his school, isn't he, on Monday?
I'll tell you what, you better get prefects. I'm not being funny.
I think I don't think it'll be too high scoring, but I do think we've got the chance to score goals here. So I'm going to say 2-1 United.
I'll say 1-0 United. We'll scrape it.
Fucking confident. What's wrong with us, lads?
It's not being confident, is it? It's just you're never going to predict us to lose, are we? In a must-win game. Guys, that's been the Man City preview. Get in your comments about the derby, about anything we've spoken about today, about our chances of getting top 4, about Memphis. Feel free to slag them two off for the rubbish teams that they've put out as well. Put your comments in below and tell us about it. See you in a bit.
This is Stephen House from Full-Time Devils. Today I'm here at BBC Manchester with everyone's best mate and ex-United legend, Dion Dublin.